The Democratic Party has become increasingly desperate to hold their party together. It's almost like no matter what they do, they can't win. We recently heard the story about a Democrat who thanked Donald Trump because she received hydroxychloroquine when she was sick with the coronavirus and it saved her life. We're now hearing that Democrats plan to censure her because she said thank you to the president. Not an endorsement. She's not quitting the party, but that was enough. And it's something we've seen before. See, the Democrats are split between the progressive base and the moderate base, and they're struggling to keep it together. The progressives hate Joe Biden, but the Democratic establishment knows that if they don't go for moderate policy, they won't win anyway. So Joe Biden's trying to simultaneously court the far left, which has almost nothing in common with the establishment, while trying to challenge Trump on issues like China. None of this works. And now we're seeing many defectors. While it is true that there are some people who have defected from the Republican Party, overwhelmingly, we see people leave the Democratic Party to become Republicans. Recently, a Democrat in Georgia endorsed Donald Trump, saying the Democratic Party left him, but he refused to leave the party. The big update here, while he said he was going to resign the other day, he has since retracted the resignation and said he will not be forced out. And I think, within reason, it's a good thing. So long as you have Democrats who are willing to stand up to the party's leftward drift, you might actually win that party back. But I don't think we'll actually get to that point. You see, they're desperate to keep this together because they know they don't have a large enough base to defeat the Republicans and Donald Trump. That means they're selling out their principles to try and court progressives. In the end, what we're seeing is team sports. They don't care about the policies, they just want to win. While I certainly think on the right, we can see that many of these politicians have principles. For instance, when you look at Matt Gaetz, who recently, in the past few months, voted against the Republican Party, he got slammed for it. Was he censured or kicked out? No, they were mad for a little bit, but things carried on. On the left, they don't tolerate this, and they actively try to remove people. When it came to Jeff Van Drew in South Jersey, apparently someone came to his office and said, if you don't vote to impeach the president, we will remove you. So he said, fine. And he switched to the Republican Party. And now here we are. This Democrat in Michigan, I believe it is, who praised Donald Trump, is now being threatened with censure. So Trump is saying, join the Republican Party. I don't think she will. But you can see why they're struggling so hard. You see, the Republicans have remained fairly moderate. Although the media has been helping the Democrats, they're propping them up essentially, especially Joe Biden. Regular people understand that the Republicans, while they are center-right, they have more in common with moderate liberals than the rest of the Democratic Party does. I'll put it this way. You're not going to win an election based on just be in the party. But that's what they've tried doing. They're literally trying to win based on there's a bunch of us and Trump is bad. In one article that I love citing, The Atlantic said, stay alive, Joe Biden. That's all they've got. So now Joe Biden, understanding that regular Americans do not agree with this, has created ads opposing China. And you even have some Biden staff members trying to create some kind of conspiracy theory that Donald Trump is working for China because he owes them money. I kid you not, that's how insane it's getting. The desperation is real. But as the Joe Biden's campaign tries to embrace his anti-China rhetoric, the left comes for them. It's a circular firing squad. They cannot maintain this. Maybe if they stood on principle, they might actually win. But I don't think so. Let's do this. Let's read the news. The first story I have for you is about the censuring of this lawmaker simply for thanking the president. To me, that's frankly absurd. But of course, we don't have any unity in this country. Okay? For me, it's simple. If you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you do something good, I'll say thank you. But because we see this so often from Democrats, don't be surprised if you see me very, very critical of Democrats. I have praised them when they've done things that are good. I have been critical of the president even today. But this is frankly absurd. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There are several ways you can give, but the best thing you can do is share this video. YouTube is propping up the mainstream media, giving them front page guarantees and access, giving them all the privilege and all the benefits. And that means that content like mine isn't getting any algorithmic benefits. In fact, they suppress it very often. I have to seek help from people I know in Google to try and fix the problems that they're saddling me with. But if you share these videos, it is substantially more powerful than their algorithm. And there's nothing they can do about that, I guess, outside of just banning me. But also don't forget, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell if you want to get more videos like this. We have a lot to go through because it's not just about this one Democrat. We've got the Georgia Democrat refusing to resign. We've got one example of the Republicans even breaking ranks, but still, Matt Gaetz seems to be doing fine. But the bigger story I want to get to is the rift between Biden and the left, because he's now going after China because he knows it's the winning path. But the Democrats are desperate to keep this together, and it's not going to work. Take a look at this other story. Joe Biden campaign returns donation made by comedian Louis C.K. The purity testing will be your end. You will never win if you reject your own supporters. And that's exactly what the Democrats are doing. How could a party possibly maintain any kind of position of power if they reject their own supporters? Your guess is as good as mine. Democrats in Detroit plan to vote to censure and bar any future endorsement of a Democratic lawmaker who credited President Donald Trump with advocating for the drug that she said cured her of COVID-19. State Rep Karen Whitsitt of Detroit broke protocol by meeting with President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence during an April 14th meeting of COVID-19 survivors, during which she credited hydroxychloroquine for saving her life. "Thank you for everything that you have done," she told Trump at the meeting. "I did not know that saying thank you had a political line. I'm telling my story and my truth, and this how I feel, and these are my words." Trump appeared to offer his support for the state representative late Thursday, tweeting, "Disgraceful. Whitsitt should join the Republican Party." And this is in response to a tweet from Ronna McDaniel, who said that Rep. Whitsitt nearly died from the coronavirus. She dared to say something positive about real Donald Trump. Michigan Democratic Party bosses are effectively kicking her out of the party. How is this real life? You need all the supporters you can get. I mean, that's why the Democrats are trying to court the far left, right? I'll tell you what, nothing makes sense. If the Democrats were really that desperate that they would try and cater to Bernie Sanders' base, who doesn't like them, why would they kick out these people? You know what it is? I think I know. The only narrative they have is Orange Man bad. They have offered me nothing. They have made no arguments in support of their positions or members. They've only ever said that Trump is bad. It's the one thing that unites the progressives and the moderates. So if a moderate comes out and says, "Thank you, Trump, I appreciate it," they say, "Gotta go." Because that's their mission. Their plan is to make Trump look bad at every single step. It's the only thing they have. You go against that line, you're out. That's why the other guy, this is the Georgia Democratic lawmaker, he retracted his resignation. "I will not allow the Democrats to bully me into submission." At this point, the Democrats aren't even a single party. I've said this many, many times. They're effectively two different parties, and the only thing they have going for them is that people don't like Donald Trump. I'm sorry, man. Look, it's possible they can win with this strategy. I just don't believe it. I do not believe that you can run someone who is nothing, who can't speak, against Trump. But you know what the Democrats do have? They have help from the media. See, the media is firing salvo after salvo to make Trump look crazy and make him look bad. And all the Democrats have to do is put some guy in puppet strings, and that's their plan. I don't think it's working. I really, really don't. Now, Donald Trump wants this woman to join the Republican Party. I don't think she will. He did win over many people. There are many local level politicians, many in Pennsylvania, for instance, which is bad news for Joe Biden. The interesting thing about the party switch is that in Pennsylvania, we've seen some small jurisdictions, as well as state-level lawmakers, switch from the Democratic Party to either independent or to the Republican Party. This is a state that Joe Biden needs to win. And the media tries to claim that Donald Trump is scared because he doesn't think he can beat Joe Biden in Pennsylvania. I'm not entirely convinced, man. I don't know how you put someone like Joe Biden against Trump and think he wins. Well, they're trying. You see, what they're trying to do now is take Trump's own policy positions from him. It's clever. Donald Trump did something similar. But this is what we'll get from the Biden camp. First of all, we have the Biden ad, right? Biden ad exposes a rift over China on the left. The former vice president's effort to hit Trump as soft on Beijing is backfiring among parts of his base. That's right. Because when you only go after Orange Man bad, you bring in people who disagree with you, and then you don't win. Take a look at this. They say some worry the rhetoric in a new Biden campaign ad could spur anti-Asian bias already on the rise because of the coronavirus pandemic. Others argue that Biden's efforts to sound tougher on China than Trump could backfire diplomatically in the long run. The rifts on the left are far from a serious fracture, but they nonetheless illustrate the challenge the former vice president faces in trying to lay out a U.S.-China policy that has become even more complicated thanks to the might of a tiny virus. I love how the media protects Joe Biden. The rift is far from a serious fracture. You kidding me? They are fractured so much. You've got the left straight up saying never Biden. They'll never support him. Now, AOC said she'll vote for him, but that's out of line with where the progressives are at. In fact, there's a woman from the ACLU who called Biden effectively racist, saying he's trying to out-Trump Trump. The party is completely fractured. But you know what? They can always rely on the media to protect them. This is from Director of Rapid Response, Andrew Bates, for the Joe Biden campaign. And now they're trying to make it seem like Trump is colluding with China. This is the best they can do. Bravo. I'm impressed. I would have assumed that after the Russiagate stuff, they would have knocked it off. But the only thing they have is we all must unite around not liking Donald Trump. Sorry, it's not an argument for me. It might work for some people. Let's be real. Not me, though. If you come to me and say Trump is bad, I'm going to be like, okay, and? Are you trying to tell me I should vote for somebody? That's ridiculous. It's like trying to tell someone to buy a cheeseburger because hot dogs don't taste as good. Well, who said I was going to buy either, man? If you want me to buy your product, don't tell me some other non-essential product is something, that's bad. It doesn't make sense. Well, here's what he tweeted. Trump owes the Bank of China millions for helping him acquire one of the most valuable properties. The loan comes due in the middle of the next presidential term. Remember how much he echoed Chinese government propaganda about the virus being contained? Oh, I do remember. Quote, Trump repeatedly praised China's response to coronavirus in February. 15 times Trump praised China as coronavirus was spreading across the globe. Wonderful. I don't want to go as far as say that he's pushing conspiracy theories, but come on, we know what he's insinuating. Trump is pushing pro-China narrative because he secretly owes money to the Chinese. He's been ragging on the Chinese for a decade, man. And hold on a second. Didn't we just see over at Politico that there's concern this will backfire diplomatically? So do we now simultaneously agree that Donald Trump was trying to be diplomatic at a time when there's a serious crisis and he's always been hard on China? I really don't understand what their plan is. I feel like if the Democrats came out and adopted much of Trump's rhetoric, I mean, I'm not saying act like Trump. If they didn't act like Trump, they'd probably do way better. But I'll tell you what, take Donald Trump, get rid of the potty mouth, and you got a winning Democratic nominee. But you see, what the Democrats have tried this whole time is to claim that everything Trump says or advocates for is bad, even when it's not. That puts him in a very dangerous position where he just roped them into a big trap. Trump in January, I want to ban travel from China. Then they say, Trump's a xenophobe, banning travel. So then early April, they say, you know what, actually, Joe Biden comes out, I agree with Trump on his travel ban, but he didn't go far enough. So then Trump says, all right, all immigration out the window. I'm going to go as hard and as ham on this as I possibly can. And then they backtrack again. It's so predictable and obvious. He's making them look like they don't even exist. What I mean by that is there's no Democratic Party to align with. There's only do I not like Donald Trump. That's it. The reality is Trump is campaigning against the media. These stories typically frame things as if Trump does it, it's bad. If Biden does it, it's good. But it's not everybody. It's just the allies the Democrats seem to have in media. And then you have other people who are within this culture of journalism who want to fit in. So they say whatever they think is going to get them the most attention or, brownie points within their own tribe. Well, Donald Trump can do basically anything, and the media will claim it's entirely awful. The problem with Biden, however, is that the progressives won't stand for it. Progressive group calls on Biden to remove Summers as economic advisor because he's not far left enough. There's no winning, man. I don't know what you think you're going to get out of this, but you're not going to win. If all you do is pander to the far left, then regular people like me, are going to be like, I guess it's Trump. You heard it from Joe Rogan. You've heard it from people like me, and they want to discredit this. Someone as lefty as Joe is saying he'd rather vote for Trump should be a warning sign, but they don't get it. Maybe they did get it. Maybe they did. But they put up Joe Biden, and it's the craziest thing to me because the dude cannot speak. Well, this extends beyond just the Democratic Party. I can talk all day and night about the Democrats being in shambles, being desperate, falling apart, but the reality is they have allies in media and they have allies in social media. You see, Joe Biden is a creepy dude. He says creepy things. Well, Donald Trump posted a meme video where it's a bunch of dudes watching the sporting event. They see Trump and he goes, that's my man. And then it goes to commercial, and they go, oh no, not another commercial. And then it shows Joe Biden saying very creepy things about children. They then all look over to Obama, who's sitting there, and he goes, what? I talked about this the other day in my previous segment. That video was removed. Copyright claim. Well, it's transformative. Who copyright claimed it? Why can't the president tweet that video out? Yep, it got removed. It's not just the media companies that are seeking to protect the Democratic Party and come out against Trump. It's social media. JoeBiden.info is a website that makes Joe look absolutely bonkers. He is a creepy old man. They even show a segment from The Daily Show. Well, have you tried recently to share JoeBiden.info on Facebook? Let me show you what you get. This is the image. I sent this to a friend, JoeBiden.info, and it says your message couldn't be shared because this link goes against our community standards. If you think this doesn't go against our community standards, let us know. Well, it doesn't. I don't know why Facebook is claiming it does, but this is what's happening. This is the reality. Twitter is taking down a fake Joe Biden ad amplified by Trump campaign staffers. The Biden campaign confirmed the ad was faked. I'm not a fan of this ad. It's a ridiculous satire, but it does claim at the bottom it was paid for by Biden. I completely disagree with this. I think it's malicious. I don't think you should be tricking people into making Joe Biden look worse. You don't need to. But somebody made a joke mean. All right, I disagree with it. Twitter has removed it. Thank you, Twitter, for removing this fake ad. Now, what about Joe Biden's misinformation? What about the fact that he lied about the very fine people statement in his opening of his campaign? What about the other statements where he mishmashed words from Trump and put them together? This really happened. And Twitter did nothing to take this down, saying it's all acceptable. You can do it. The Democrats have the media activists on their side. And it's one thing I've talked about quite a bit over the past several years, that if the Republicans didn't, I'll keep the language tone. If the Republicans didn't pay attention, and they didn't, this would come back and it would hurt them substantially, and it has been. Some of the highest profile Trump supporters are completely gone from various platforms, and everybody knows it. They're not coming back. You now see that Trump is facing an uphill battle when it comes to memes. Why? Well, because Trump's memes are way better. The Trump campaign does a way better job of communicating with younger people and being funny and fun. The Democrats aren't. What the Democrats have on their side is establishment power and authority. That means the media will frame everything Trump says as wrong or unintelligent, and they will finish Joe Biden's sentences for him to make it seem like he is being intelligent. Joe Biden has no real strategies or no plans. And it's funny when I see the media say Biden has unveiled his new plan. No, he didn't. He didn't, and we know he didn't. There was recently a segment he did with the Late Late Show where he was making a joke about Julia Louis-Dreyfus being his VP because, she did the show Veep. And he keeps looking down every 2 seconds because he doesn't even know where he is. He can't remember anything. How could this man be president? I don't know who he's going to pick as VP, but it's clear that they don't have a real strategy other than we wield institutional power, we will use it, and that's how we will win. Anyone who dares break ranks will be punished and essentially removed from the party. Joe Biden says nothing. And I wonder why it is the media ignores this. It should be the most obvious warning sign to everybody that if Joe Biden can get away with posting fake ads on Twitter, then you know that Twitter and these big companies are in the bag for the Democrats. If he can post fake ads and no one's going to flag them, the media won't write about it. The tech companies and the news outlets are in the bag for the Democrats. But you know what's really dumb? It's like, it's funny to me that they say the media doesn't have a liberal bias, right? That's what they like to claim. They often frame things as though the conservative media does this, never recognizing themselves as liberal media. And I know many of these activists who say there is no liberal media, just good, honest journalism and a bunch of right-wing nuts. But these news organizations literally endorse Democrats almost all the time. Like, why is it the New York Times is endorsing anybody? To me, that makes just absolutely no sense. Well, let's get back to the purity test. Joe Biden had to return money because Louis C.K. made this donation. You know why? Because the mob has spoken. Do not step out of line with our core ideology. I don't understand it because I think for the most part, none of it makes sense. Who cares if Louis C.K. gives you money? Well, he's going to go up against... Let me put it this way. I don't understand how it is that Joe Biden can claim that Trump is soft on China and then get attacked by the far left, but then reject money from Louis C.K. because he would be attacked by the far left. So, some people might say that I might contradict myself. No, let me just point this out. I have no idea what they're doing. And it's hard to make a point when they're doing multiple things at once. or seemingly nothing at all. I guess the only real way I can put it is you look at some parts of the Democratic Party and you make assumptions that they're, the ones in charge. And then you realize they're not. No one is. And that's kind of the point. There is no nucleus anymore. The Democratic Party is fractured with no strategy. And what you end up with is Joe Biden trying to be the leader of the party. And he's pushing anti-China rhetoric. But then he's also getting rid of donations to appease the far left, trying to pander to progressives who want him to remove his own staff members. I'm sorry. None of it makes sense. And I don't know what I would be voting for if I did vote for this man. First of all, he can't speak. I have no idea if he's for or against this stuff. Does he believe in free speech? Does he oppose it? What's up with that weird stuff he's saying about kids? And why are the Democrats kicking out their own members for simply saying, hi, thank you, President Trump? That's it. Here's what I expect. I expect to see many more Democrats defect. I don't know if Trump will win in November. I've been pretty bullish on him winning re-election, but it's hard to know for sure. Some people might not appreciate that my opinions frequently change, but it's because new information comes out all the time. When I look at all of these stories, it often does leave me confused, trying to figure out what the Democrats are trying to accomplish. I honestly don't know. I think they want to win, but if they wanted to win, why would they kick out their own supporters? If they wanted to win, why would they reject donations from their own supporters? Unless they don't want to win. Unless everything they've done is some secret plot to get Donald Trump reelected, which I don't think it is. But I just honestly can't tell you, man. It seems like pure chaos. To see, Trump making gains within the black community. And they know it's a huge problem for them. So what do? When this woman comes out, they threaten her? They could have just said nothing. Who are you pandering to? Not me. Not regular people, and certainly not minority voters. You're threatening career damage to a woman because medicine saved her life. You could have just done nothing. So I don't know what to tell you, man. I'll tell you what. All of this stuff leaves me rather baffled. It's the best I can say. I read this stuff every day, and I can't say that I can truly understand what it is they're going for because it's just a mess. But I can say they're desperate. I can say they're struggling, and there is no leadership anymore. I think that's the easiest way to put it. I'll put it this way. Don't assume what you see from the Democratic Party is any sign of leadership. Nancy Pelosi is not a leader. Chuck Schumer is not a leader. Schiff is not a leader. None of these people are. They don't know what they're doing because there's no unifying principle or individual. They fell apart. Hillary Clinton lost, and there was no one left to pick up the pieces. If Joe Biden is the best they can do as their rallying cry, that's the weakness of the Democratic Party. As far as I'm concerned, I think the party is completely gone. It's just a name now, but it doesn't represent anything. Are they moderate? Are they far left? Are they socialist? Do they want Bernie? Who's in charge? Is it Pelosi? Honestly, don't know. I guess Pelosi is the strongest person within the party. But I think the easy way to put it is the Democratic Party is actually like 3 or 4 different parties at this point. None of it makes sense. State and local representatives are agreeing with Trump. How does this jive with the rest of the party? It literally doesn't. None of it makes sense. How does Joe Biden's accusing Trump of colluding with China, I'm being hyperbolic, and his Trump is soft on China ad, how does that work with the far left? Nothing does, man. So I guess I'll leave it there. I'll tell you I'm frustrated because I've been sitting here reading this stuff just confused as to what any of it means. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's the best conclusion I can make. There's no party anymore. So it's Trump running against people who don't like Trump. That's it. It's Trump. You like him or you don't. That's it. Vote for the other guy because he's alive. Don't look at me. I'm not going to do that. Next segment will be coming up at 6 p.m. youtube.com/TimCastNews. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you there.